guys, it's Olivia here, your training and behavioral specialist with my assistant Poppy. So one of the things that I've seen quite a bit with rescue in general and most dogs is challenge with that loose leash walking. And so I've mentioned this to a few people, but I just wanted to show a method that I like to use that really kind of gives the idea to our dogs that they want to have that loose leash. So this is something where you don't need a lot of treats, you don't really need anything to reinforce other than you're taking the dog on a walk. And you can also practice this even just standing in one spot. So I'm going to kind of show you how I would put this into practice, just teaching that skill of releasing the pressure on the leash. And then I'll try and add in a video as well of how that would look in a walking situation. So one of the really cool things about dogs is they have kind of a natural built-in tool where they want to release pressure. So if they're feeling any sort of tension, they're going to automatically move in a way to release or break that tension. And so part of what this exercise does is it uses that natural like wanting to release that pressure to teach them a skill. Poppy, Poppy. So one of the ways that you can practice teaching them how to release that leash pressure specifically is just putting a leash on them and putting a little bit of pressure. So you're not yanking it, you're not dragging them. You're just putting on a little bit of pressure so that they can feel it. And then you're gonna wait. Sometimes you may have to wait for a little bit. Poppy, it really depends on the day, depends on what kind of tool I'm using, that kind of thing. If they're not moving, you can put a little bit more pressure. Yes, good girl. And so when they move in a way that releases that pressure and makes the leash loose, then you're going to reward them. So you can either use a food reward. I use a marker word with my dogs because they're not food motivated. So a word that they know means they're doing something well. And then you basically just keep practicing that. So you can see even that time I put the pressure on and she automatically moved with it because she's engaging a little bit more. I'm gonna try in different directions. So this time I'm kind of pulling back a little bit instead of forward. Poppy, leave it. Stop sniffing me. She's a little bit distracted. Yes, good girl, good job. And so just repeating that practice until they get the idea of keeping that leash loose. Let's go. Yes, good girl. Yeah, let's go. Yes. Yes, good girl. Yes, good girl. Good job. Let's go this way. Yes, good girl. Come on. Yes, good girl. And so one thing to keep in mind with Poppy as my example as well is, yes, good girl. We've been working on this for a few years at this point. Yes, good girl. So she also knows, yes, good girl. The expectation when I stop, yeah, is that she's turning to engage with me. So your foster may not fully turn to engage with you, which is one of the nice things with this exercise. Yes. Is that they don't need full engagement. Yes, good girl. They just need to let that leash go enough so that they're not pulling, right? And it's nice because it can work on any tool. So right now I've got her on a flat collar. But if you're using a martingale, a harness, anything, head halter, this exercise works really well with just teaching them how to, yes, good girl, teaching them how to release that pressure. Yes, good girl.